Oh! You know, I can fix that. Giant robots.
Part 2.
I love robots. Small robots.
Very small.
Medium robots.
Los locos kick your ass. Los locos kick your face. Los locos kick your balls into outer space.
Large robots. But I especially love hulking machines that can tear through buildings. Unleash an artillery of military-grade firepower. Fly through the air with jetpacks and rocket boots. And turn into a Volkswagen for some reason.
Here we are.
I said it before, I think Pacific Rim is an incredible piece of modern day cinema. A masterclass in, oh shit, that's awesome. Giant robots versus kaiju, sign me up, every time. We won't talk about the second movie. I mean, the fights were pretty cool, but the story was... We're not going to get into it. I was a massive fan of Power Rangers when I was very young. I thought the Megazord was one of the coolest things I had ever seen. It blew my 5-year-old little mind to see that on TV for the first time. Mechagodzilla is probably the oldest example of this. I used to love watching Godzilla movies when I was a kid. Still do. Anyway, I can go on and on about my love for giant robot representation in media. My name is Danny Peralta. This is Diver Girl Art, and I try to make cool things. And I hope you watch it and like it and subscribe. That's right, today we're trash building another junkbot. I had a lot of fun on the first one. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. I was really happy with how that one turned out. So we're doing it again. Let's commence with the building, shall we? We are so back for another Trashbot scrap build.
I'm the trash man.
Starting out with, well, not trash.
That's right. You're a big fat phony.
Alright, relax. Trash is coming. Don't you worry about that. So I was sitting around browsing Temu for miniatures and art supplies, as I often find myself doing. It's like my version of doom scrolling at this point. When I come across this thing, a little model-based scaffolding thing. Normally I would start this type of project, a trash/kit bashing scrap build, by sort of just sitting down and dry fitting random pieces in order to Frankenstein some sort of skeleton to get the basic shape and silhouette of something I can begin to build off of. Sort of a Jesus take the wheel type of approach. But the second I saw this little docking bay looking miniature model piece, I thought, man, that would look really cool with a giant robot in it. It would look even cooler with a damaged giant robot docked for repairs with a crew of tiny humans working on it. The story sort of tells itself. So in this case, the entire direction of the project has been dictated by a single listing on Temu. Let that sink in. Making a little ladder to give the little crew access to the second floor. Now let's get to work on the terrain. I want this thing to look like it's built into the side of a rock wall. Maybe the side of a mountain. Maybe the inside of a mountain. That was bored out in order to hide a secret base of some sort. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm using some XPS foam for rocky mountain bits. Now that I got the terrain mapped out, I'll let that dry while I get to making a cherry picker, or an aerial lift, that will be hoisting up one of our workers to get a better look at the damage done to the very large and very expensive piece of machinery. Making this out of a couple of pieces from a junkbot as a base, using some wooden beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
For the wheels. Simple enough. Now let's get it all glued together and move on to the smallest miniatures I have ever painted. These guys are tiny. A little over an inch tall. And the perfect scale for the terrain and the size of the robot they will be working on. It's big. Really big. Well, to them. Now that we have everyone on painting handles and ready for priming, it's time for the bed. It's time for bed. It was like 3 a.m. at this point.
Rise and shine.
But I came back in the morning fresh-faced and ready to scrap build a giant robot. And look at that. Our first piece of trash. Starting off the day strong. We begin with an empty pill bottle for a foundation to build off of. Give that a nice and thorough sanding to give it some teeth so that things that are glued to it stay that way. I stick some metal armature wire to build my arms off of. I have these pauldrons from a broken Grimlock figure. Then I just wing it from there, sticking random little plastic bits all over to bulk up the model. There's no real rhyme or reason other than
symmetry, dear Steinman. It's time we did something about symmetry.
And the most important rule, does it look cool? These little rubber pieces for the chest were from an empty printer ink cartridge. I used these long wooden beads.
Bees?
Beads.
For the forearms. Then some plastic binding coil for the outside of the arms to give them a sort of hydraulic look. And because
the first rule of Fight Club is,
does it look cool? Then it's time for
My mitts.
For these, I just used a series of little styrofoam cubes I cut from a piece of scrap foam board. I attached those to a tiny piece of wire to make the fingers. Then I drilled them into a piece of some thick poster board I glued together and then cut into shape for the palms. Then I added some rivets for some visual interest. Then glued them to the armature wire, and there you have it.
My mitts.
Then I get back to gluing random pieces on. Adding some rivets all over, because you can never have enough rivets. Then I add some actual wires that will be coming out of the bottom part of the robot's torso, where some legs would presumably be. Then it's on to adding some serious battle damage using a soldering iron. Burning random holes and scratches into the model. Then we prime, And that's our robot built and ready for repairs already. Now let's get back to our foam terrain, carving out an indentation for our robot repair docking bay to slot into. Then I go to town on it with a Dremel in order to get that rocky texture we are going for, before adding some more foam to the top to make it look like it's built into the rock as opposed to just sitting in front of the rock wall. Give that a protective layer of watered down PVA glue and Mod Podge. Now let's make some spreadable terrain paste. Using some PVA glue, fine sand, baking soda, and some gray paint so I can see where I'm putting it. And I'll brush that on all over our rocky bits, and then get the docking bay set into it, before blending it into the scene with that terrain paste. We want to make it look like it's supposed to be there, and not just sitting on top of the terrain. And with that, it's time for priming. Now that everything is primed, it's time to get painting. Painting the terrain a sort of red rocks at sunset color because I thought it looked nice. The ground gets a darker brownish burnt red kind of shade to it. Then it gets an all over shellacking with a dark and dirty brown oil wash. Now on with all the red parts of the docking bay to make it look like they were trying to camouflage it to match the red of the rock wall when they built this. Then on to all the black surfaces, and I'll leave the rest that sort of powder-coated paint primer because I think it works great for the old and weathered metal structure finish I was going for. Next, we're going to stipple on some scratches and chipped paint using a piece of a sponge attached to one of those little metal grabber tools. Then a light dry brushing of some light gray to catch all of those raised edges to really bring out all those nice textures in the ground. And that's it for our terrain/repair docking bay. Finished and ready to be occupied by a giant, heavily damaged automaton and its little emergency repair crew. Starting with the smallest of the group, the tiny little workers. We begin with our engineer, a robot doctor if you will, here to collect data and readings, retrieve video recordings from any of the bot's internal cameras, to try and figure out how this could have happened and what could have done this type of damage undetected. Then we have our mechanic. He will be manning the cherry picker, assessing the damage mechanically, determining if this giant hulking piece of heavy machinery is salvageable or will it be broken down for spare parts. And he really does not want to be here today. And finally, we have our suit, the higher up, here to ask a bunch of questions about things no one has any answers to yet. and to just be an all-around pain in the ass. Then I give them all a tiny bit of a dry brushing, followed by a lighter brown oil wash. Then I come back and re-establish some of the highlights. Now it's time for the cherry picker. Same color scheme as the docking bay. With some bone white for the arms. Then I give it a dark brown oil wash for some grime and rust. Now on to the centerpiece, this giant metal boy. Let's face it, this guy has seen better days. Built for mining and excavation. In fact, it was on the same crew of unmanned automatons that helped build the very base that it is in right now, possibly at the end of its operational lifespan. Out for a routine mining expedition just hours earlier, a trip that this particular model has made hundreds of times without so much as a hitch. This particular model operates under a very widely known and very dangerous organization, with a lot of influence and a whole lot of firepower. Not to mention, this bot is designed to protect itself, and if you make it past its powerful artillery, you find yourself face to face with a walking excavator capable of boring holes into mountains and breaking boulders in half. So whatever was out there, whatever did this level of damage to essentially a walking tank without so much as a footprint on the ground, is not something a certain organization will be taking lightly. So the next robot that will be making the trip to the mining site won't be built for excavation and mining. It will be built for destruction and hellfire. Here I'm just stippling on some silver with a sponge to create some scratches and chipping paint to add to the battle damage. With that, it's time to add our now painted models to their respective spots in this scene. And that's a wrap for Trash Bashing and Junkbot Part 2. Stick around for the awesome final shots. Alright, and there you have it. Another Junkbot built. And a cool little story to go along with it. I think my favorite part of this one was painting up all the miniatures. Especially the littlest guys, because I had never painted people that small before. Alright, before we get to the final shots, my name is Danny Peralta. This is Diver Girl Art. Like, follow, subscribe, And stay tuned for more videos and new builds coming. Follow me on Instagram for all my more traditional artwork. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next build.